right, we are live.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to Earth's Mightiest Podcast, episode 176. Hello, everyone.
Live and direct, y'all.
Yeah. Happy 420 week for those who participate.
You're talking about Earth Day, right?
Yeah, of course. I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't it Earth Month or whatever too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would never speak of smoking the devil's lettuce or anything.
Devil lettuce.
Lettuce. Never heard that one before. That is ridiculous. Wow.
Yesterday was an interesting day. Like, I mean, just like I was like, yeah, 420. I don't participate, but good on everybody that does. But also, a murderous cop got convicted, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I completely missed it too. It was like, it was that night. I'm sitting here like, I heard something about justice. Like, oh, wait a minute, did the verdict come in and everything already? But yeah, that that wouldn't have come through. There would have been like rioting, I'm sure.
At the same time, like, I'm so used to in my mind those things going
sideways. Yeah.
Not in the direction of justice.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, yeah, and I couldn't say I was happy, but I'm like relieved for a little bit.
Yeah.
At least you're just like, okay, all right, so it's not completely broken.
Yeah.
But still got a lot of work to do. All that stuff. What have you been up to, Bobby?
I see what's wrong here. Give me a quick second.
Okay, Corwin, go.
Nothing really new. We got new puppies now. We got two
puppies.
Half Pomeranian, half Jack Russell Terriers. They look definitely more palmy than anything, but they are a boy and a girl. They're what do they call them? Litter mates. Okay. They're brother and sister, and they are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, they are totes adorbs.
So.
And you need to post. I require daily pictures in the cute animals thread on Discord.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Your mission, should you choose to
accept it.
Yes.
All right, I'll see what I can do with that one. But
also start their own Instagram, please.
I don't know if I have time for all that, but between the crate training and my two kids just going crazy with them, it's like impossible to try to really get them trained.
What are their names again? Like Spike and Vicious?
Yes. And it only came about because the girl, the smaller one, is the most loudest, boisterous, like she picks on her brother and she attacks him, she charges him. She's just so feisty with him. She's just vicious. Everything she does is just so vicious. So my wife ended up calling her that, and they kind of stuck. And then since we have Vicious, it just made better sense to have Spike. So if you're a Cowboy Bebop fan, you know exactly where we're coming from with that.
Nice. Spike and Vish.
Spike and Vish.
Nice, man.
Yep. What about you, Bobby? What you been up to? I guess he's not ready yet. All right.
Yeah. Me, again, still working on commissions. I'm actually ahead of the curve. I think I have one that I have to do, which is for you, Corin. and that's all my deadlines, I think, for April. So I've been
on track, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, huh. And I painted another Marvel Crisis Protocol mini on my last stream, which was which is fun.
Now that's the ones for the board game, right? Is that another
Yeah,
tabletop?
another tabletop game, basically. Again, also another game that I haven't played at all. I just wanted to paint the miniatures.
So, and this X-Men, what is it? X-Men United? Is that what it's called?
Marvel United. I
Marvel
guess
United
yeah, it's Marvel United with the X-Men expansion.
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is looking pretty cool, and those little minifigures are looking really nice. So
Yeah, they are adorable.
it just sucks that it's gonna be a year
Yeah.
basically before it's released.
Yeah,
But
it's available on Kickstarter now for the folks listening to this before like May, early May.
yep, we hear you checking, Bobby.
Check.
Yep. So if listeners don't know about that, go ahead and go down our Facebook group on Facebook and see that there's a post about it where you can go find the Kickstarter to go ahead and back it because it looks awesome.
Yes, it does. And I put it in the collectibles thread in our Discord as well.
All right, so there you have it.
Yeah, so I think Bobby's still dealing with stuff. So this is the part where we talk about podcast reviews. So wherever you listen to the podcast, please go and give us a review. It helps. The more reviews we get, the easier it is for people to find us. And if you so choose, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/EMPcast, where as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to our EMBS episodes where we just kind of shoot the shit, talk about things that are not Avengers and X-Men book related, and just kind of us just kind of BSing. But it's free. It's free for the public just a month later, but Patreon subscribers get it like the week of us recording it. And then if you contribute more, there's like sketches from our art friends, even custom toys by me, and just coffee mugs and swag and things like that.
And some comics once in a while.
Here and there. But yeah, I think that's about it. Do we have anything else to do? Do we want to talk about news? Is there anything in the news Avengers wise? Any new updates with Heroes Reborn or anything that we need to talk about?
Some of the solicits are coming out for afterwards, where it looks like the next story arc is World War She-Hulk.
Interesting.
So she's getting a major arc of the Avengers, and I could have sworn that like Marvel was counting down to something maybe with all their books and Mephisto and everything, and maybe after Heroes Reborn we get some kind of big relaunch, but. We'll see. I'm still holding on to that because it seems like too many things are still slowly coming together at Marvel. So,
right,
we will see. But I don't think there's really any Avengers news. I mean, we got literally one Avengers book.
Right. We got we got the trailer for Shang Chi.
Shang Chi,
and it looks good. It looks so good.
I only watched it once. I even said I wasn't gonna watch it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a dope ass kung fu movie set in the MCU.
Exactly, and I saw Razor Fist too. I was like, oh,
Razor Fist, freaking Razor Fist in the MCU. I mean, like we had a talking raccoon and tree. I guess we can't like suspend anything. All rules are out once you have that. But yeah, Razor Fist.
Did you notice? Was there any other characters? I didn't really watch the trailer more than once. So
yeah, I only watched it once too.
Okay, let's see if any of the characters or anything else kind of stood out. But
there's also a Marvel Legends set they just released, and I feel obligated to buy it just to support it. I'm usually not into the MCU Marvel Legends figures. They're not usually great, but.
When was the last time you cracked open that Marvel board game?
Which one? Oh, a Legendary Marvel?
Yes, Legendary.
I play the mod version on my laptop now. just because I don't have to clear out my table anymore to play it.
How y'all humans doing?
Ah, there he is.
There he is.
So clap for
Viet, that's the one you play through
The tabletop
Steam.
simulator. Yeah.
through Steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still got to give that thing a try. So, if I wanted to play with you though, are you able to just host it, or is there more?
Yeah. You can play it online.
Okay, with you.
Is that the RPG we kind of talked about? It. Is that what you guys are talking about?
It's a card game, like
a
deck building game.
But there's a simulator where you can actually play it online.
Yes.
With the people, so.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
There's
Maybe just not on air necessarily first time.
Yeah, there's like a Steam like tabletop simulator, and like people make mods for like pretty much almost every like board game that you can think of. So it's pretty neat.
Like basically it's a emulator that stands in as, you know, has some kind of like randomizer for dice or rolling or something and stuff like that. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. You're a little staticky, Bob.
Okay. A little staticky, huh? Well, maybe am I loud?
No. Okay, it's gone. I think.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah, I hear it too. Do my best.
Yeah, it's not that bad right now.
We can deal with it. So, what have you been up to, Bobby, before we get into things?
Let's see. This week I've been, messing around with a lot of audio equipment still. You guys should see this little castle.
Including now.
That's unfortunate. You'd think that, you know, if I'm doing this all day long, I would never be running into problems like that. I think it's because I'm kind of pushing my gear hard in other directions that sometimes when I come back to just the mic and the headphones, please, it's like, are you sure you don't want to run a software synth through MIDI across the channel 19 and then back into, so that stuff. But it's fun. I'm kind of like, I'm learning a lot of stuff I'm learning about a lot of equipment, and I'm learning a lot about, for instance, MIDI as a protocol for making music that I really never had a chance to explore, and it's pretty fun. So, gotta watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, I know how that is.
All right. So I guess. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
I was gonna say, without further ado, are we gonna get things rolling, or is there anything else you guys wanted to get into?
Autobots.
Yeah. So let's cue Tribe 1. Corin, I'll let you know when we can go.
All
right. And let's cue Tribe 1 because Twitch people deserve to hear the theme song. Here we go.
Now appearing in the building, up in every ear hole from 80-year-olds to the children. You're here to hear about the heroes and the villains and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, five-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Bendis, you want to be coming to them when you want the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest.
Corin.
Yes. So I didn't hear you cue before. I only heard that one time.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is Earth's Mightiest Podcast. I am Corwin, and with me, as always, is Fiat Win
Hello.
and Bobby Moriarty.
Howdy.
We stand strong as your front line to the Avengers titles published by Marvel Comics. We defend you from the bad books and avenge the books that you may have missed.
Issues will be rated from 1 to 5, with 1 being very, very bad and 5 being very, very good. There will be spoilers, so consider your ass warned.
Spoilers, yes.
Spoilers.
So, Bobby,
Spoilers.
you ready to take us in the penultimate chapter of
Yeah. So we let me
You
just.
sound far away again.
Okay.
All right, much better.
So Avengers number 43, I believe we're on, written by Jason Aaron with art by help
Javier
me.
Garon.
Javier, thank you. What happens in this issue, basically, I have to say, if you read the last issue, you can get a pretty good sense of what happened in this issue. The title fight is between Logan and T'Challa, and we're still, doing this battle for there can be only one to see who's gonna retain the Phoenix Force. A couple interesting moments. One in particular, Logan thinks he's got T'Challa dead to rights. He's sort of taunting him about he's doing the maneuver where he's got 2 claws popped, and what should I do if I with my 3rd claw now? And T'Challa smiles, and there's a close up on his teeth that are apparently vibranium laced.
Yeah. Black Panther got a vibranium grill.
I was. Yeah, as you do. A couple other fights.
Also,
She-Hulk-
Wolverines have Nards.
Right. Also, Wolverines.
You stole it right from me. That's exactly what I was going to say, bastard. I was saving it.
Wow, you guys are both familiar with Wolfman's Got Nards?
Of course.
That means so much to me. I'm so happy to know that. And I wasn't even going to make that comment. I can't believe I didn't think of it.
Any child of the 80s knows that Wolfman has Nards.
Has got Nards, yeah. He says right in the sweeties. Something like that. So yeah, then we get who else? Jen fighting Jane Foster. Somebody, I can't remember what the other fight is. Essentially, fighty. At the end of the day, we see that it's going to be Cap versus T'Challa for all the marbles. Couple things. This is kind of like more meta than it is like in world, but I have a question for you guys as far as your understanding of this, because mine is honestly now I'm getting a little confused, but it really is, I think, due to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, adamantium was always what Wolverine was made out of. I know that's the facts. Was adamantium always what Cap's shield was made out of? Like, where did vibranium come in only after the movie started and Marvel had lost the rights to adamantium by giving, you know what I mean, by selling the X-Men off, and they had already used.
As far as I can remember, his shield was always made out of a hybrid of adamantium and vibranium, which is why it can bounce the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Because I thought that back in the day, if you were reading about Black Panther, that you would be hearing that his suit was made out of adamantium, and that Wakanda was one of the world's largest deposits of adamantium. I don't remember hearing about vibranium. I probably do remember it wrong, but
yeah,
I
I'm
was
pretty certain it's always been vibranium.
That actually kind of makes me feel better, because I thought that it was kind of this retcon situation where, you know what I mean, where like since Marvel messed up with the rights situation, they they had to kind of jury rig things. But if that's always been the case, then I have no further questions, Your Honor.
How do you feel about this whole Phoenix being Thor's mother?
Well,
you guys.
Oh, right, that's the other reveal, which I think, if you read last issue and even some of the other 1000 BC or 1 million BC issues leading up to this, it's certainly been hinted at. I guess we need something juicy, but because I'll tell you what, like, this feels a little cheap to me. This issue, like, you could literally swap some of the. I actually had to check back to make sure I was reading the right book, because I thought I was reading last month's book. You know what I mean?
I agree. I feel like it is going on a little bit too long with this tournament.
Yeah, I on like it's weird to say about a Jason Aaron book. You know, I guess you can't win them all, but like I could not care less about this Phoenix tournament stuff.
Not even a little bit, and it's their own damn fault. You know, like, they're cheapening the Phoenix. It's been watered down to the point that the Phoenix, whoever is like getting control of the Phoenix Force, is taking a sideline to the King in Black that's whatever going on through the rest of the Marvel Universe right now, which is the only other reason I can think of to try and kind of like put the brakes on the action moving forward in this book. That they're trying to like let the rest of the Marvel Universe catch up to a place where they can. So you know what I mean? They're trying to give space for the rest of the story, I guess, but it doesn't feel very good and it's not interesting. So
yeah, and normally, and maybe just because it is like fatigue of this particular storyline
specific, yeah.
But like normally I would be like cracking up at the vibranium grill and the kick to the Nards, but
right.
like when I saw them, like just like major eye roll. I'm just like, really,
yeah,
you know, and that should have been like a belly laugh. You know, like...
It's a good point. It's a good point, Viet, and I think you're right. It just speaks to,
yeah,
now
it's just not that great. The art is pretty cool. I mean, I like the costume designs and the storytelling is good, but
I think that, well, here another question is, if you're an X-Men fan, does that make you more susceptible to Phoenix fatigue, whereas other people who are Marvel Comics readers might find this, you know, other Avengers fans who hadn't always been up on what's going on with the X-Men universe, maybe it's more interesting for them? Is that possible?
Yeah, that could be possible. Especially, I don't know, like it seems like first, like ever since like AVX, right? Like when we had the Phoenix 5,
yeah,
and then there was a little bit where like Kid Omega had
yep.
the Phoenix Force for a little bit, like in Wolverine versus X-Men, and like the Phoenix has been around since I mean, like especially like on and off since AVX, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of jumped around from different people, and it's kind of lost its flair. Not to
No,
yeah,
no,
no pun intended.
not to
mean,
not to ruffle
it's-
no feathers.
Yeah,
It's like how Galactus showing up used to be a big deal. And
right.
he just or even Thanos, and they just keep reusing it.
Right. So I was just like this. I don't know, like for me, and not to make more fire puns, but there's already way too many irons in the fire with Jason Aaron's stuff that he didn't
Right.
like. This is kind of unnecessary.
There's no need. There's just no need for this at all. That's my main problem with it, is that it doesn't. There's so much. It's like you said. There's so much other stuff going on that there's no need for it. But it's beyond no need for it. There's literally. I require some other loose ends to be tied up before we just delve into the Avengers do the Phoenix now, and it's very strange to feel like it's almost like he's got too many tabs open on his browser,
Yeah.
and it's just everything you said is correct. The Phoenix has been bouncing around more or less since AVX, which is a solid 10 years now, 2011. And for me, it's painful because I mean, I remember being like 10, 11, 12 and passing around the copy of the Dark Phoenix saga, like between me and my friends. There was a couple, like maybe one or two of us each had like a tattered like trade paperback of it, and it was really beat up, and like it made me feel like I was reading more adult stuff now that I stepped up to the X-Men universe, and like people died in in the Dark Phoenix saga, and it's one of the most important stories to me, and like that I remember about comics from my childhood. And the Phoenix was something that mattered, and the way that they're playing this, it just feels real. It just feels cheap. So.
Well, one thing to consider now too is, well, what are they gonna do once the host is picked? So is this Phoenix gonna be part of the Avengers? Because I mean, that's pretty much, I think, the direction they've been building in with everything. Basically putting the 1 million BC crew back together again. So
My guess is neither Cap neither Cap or Black Panther are gonna get it, and I think Thor is gonna get it.
Well,
they've kind of spoiled it on the cover that it is a female.
they sort of did, but that's elusive, right? Like the Phoenix has a sort of like a female. I don't know. The Phoenix seems to be gendered female in a way, right? Like, I think that might be a red herring, but like a little bit of a misdirect. But maybe you're right. As far as the Phoenix joining the team, no, I don't think that's how it's going to go down. It's going to be the Phoenix versus the team, and to whatever end, whoever ends up wielding it can't just be an Avenger, It's like, talk about overpowered, right? Like if Superman's a difficult character because he can't be killed, like you really can't just be like, yeah, the Phoenix is on the Avengers now. And yeah, so they probably won't lose anymore. I guess I don't know, technically Jean Grey is supposed to have been that, and whoever has wielded it in those moments, but that's not the same thing really as being the Phoenix, right? Like,
Rachel was always the one to really tame it, but she's always overlooked. But
Fair.
Neither here nor
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. Pardon my voice, guys. I'm losing my voice a little bit today.
there. No, it's all good. But one other thing I'd like to point out is these tournaments. It seems kind of unstructured. It's like always somebody fighting somebody else. Like I wish they would have just done the regular brackets, and if you're eliminated, you're eliminated.
Right.
Yeah, not for nothing. Like, sorry.
Go ahead.
If it was Hickman, right, there would have been like a 2-page thing in the beginning of each book showing the whole bracket and like who had won and who had lost. That kind of thing. I totally was thinking that earlier.
I don't know if it's supposed to make sense or if it's just supposed to be random of whoever wins the most matches, but it wasn't quite explained to us, and then it just seems like we see random people fighting. It's like, oh, okay. At least I didn't follow it. I don't know if you guys did.
Yeah, it was. Is this kind of like it just seemed like it was very, despite it like we're us complaining it, like how does it drag and feel rushed at the same time? But that's what it feels like.
Seriously.
Like it feels like this needs to hurry up and end, but then like as you're still reading it, you're just kind of like, what the hell is going on? I was just like, yeah, it's just like it's being so rushed, but then you're just like, this needs to be sussed out a little. You're just like, yeah, how do you do both? I don't know. That's the talent that Jason Aaron can do, I guess. But yeah, I'm sorry, Jason Aaron. I love 99.9% of the stuff that you do, but this is
I mean, he's a human
miss
being,
for
right?
me. This is a miss for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But the art, the Javier Garon art is solid.
Yes.
And maybe it's the David Curiel colors that kept it uniform with the Ed McGuinness stuff, but the art is solid. I like the costume designs, despite me being phoenixed out.
Yeah, and it's important actually, though, to say that the art is really good and not to let that be lost.
Yes.
In the kind of frustration with the exposition, because a lot of work clearly did go into that, and because of that, I'm not going to give it a 1, but I'll give it 2 Phoenix wings.
Oh. I'm still gonna give it a solid 3. 3. I mean, I don't want to take that Wolverine got Nards, but that was
you can
what
take
I
that.
was
I was gonna give it 2.5 Black Panther grills or vibranium grills.
There you go. I love that too. That scene made me chuckle. That's the ridiculousness that Jason Aaron can come up with at times.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it was lost in this storyline. Like of all the times, like this would have made me like belly laugh and then probably like wake up my wife like, well, look at how ridiculous this is. And then she'd be like, what are you talking about? And then I'll just keep laughing. And it just wasn't there.
All right, so
goes to show you, like, comedy is all about timing, eh?
Mm-hmm.
True. All right, so we are going into Eve L. Ewing's final issue of the Champions. Art by Bob Quinn, colors by Federico Blee, and this is Champions number 5.
Outlawed.
Yes. So we have Viv and Braun. I want to call him Brute for some reason. Viv and Braun actually breaking into the Cradle Re-Education Center, where they basically spring the champions that have been captured, or all the other kids that have been captured and are going through their quote-unquote re-education. Meanwhile, while that's happening, the rest of the champions, the core team that we know, end up going back to Chicago, where Riri's mom is, to kind of check in with Riri's mom and kind of apologize. All of the champions kind of seem to keep running on and cutting her off from speaking, but she basically backs the team and like, you know, you guys, I believe in you. I believe you know what you're doing. Just be careful. So I thought that was a pretty good change of pace where we don't have a parent, you know, forbidding them to go do the superheroing thing. So that was
She
a
also
nice
wasn't
twist.
like unbelievably like go team. It was a good moment. Sorry to
Indeed.
interrupt.
No problem. So now that the champions are a complete crew again, Ron ends up bringing them some data surveillance footage from the headquarters, so they're able to out the Cradle organization and how they're being backed by Roxxon and what Roxxon is kind of really up to, which also gives the senator kind of a change of heart with things, and he kind of wants to, you know, figure something else out. But of course, Roxxon are kind of big in trying to bully everybody with their soldiers. But of course, due to the footage and the people turning on Roxxon, the people actually back the champion. So they haven't completely rolled back Kamala's law, but they're going to make some changes to it. So we have a little bit of progress on that front. Then we have a special two-page epilogue where we have Roxxon, where they're greeting two new recruits that are coming to their, I believe, their social media team, and we see that Miles and
Kid Nova.
what's his name? I can't remember his name. Sam. Damn, I'm stupid. Yeah, Miles and Sam are now interning at Roxxon.
That was pretty funny, actually.
Sam actually has like a Nova Corps pin on his book bag.
And his shirt has the symbols, and then of
Yeah.
course, Miles has like his sweater's not necessarily
Yeah.
webbed, but
Yeah, it's not obviously like Spider-Man. But
and I was dying myself for a second there because Sam Alexander is named after Jeff Loeb's son who passed away.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, he created him and named him after his kid. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I like this. I liked. It was nice to get Viv back, kind of like in a way that felt organic. She got back on her own, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. You know what? In complete contrast to where the Avengers are right now, this Champions book felt very well paced over the last 5 issues. That's maybe not high praise exactly, but it's certainly important, and it just felt like a good wrap up. It didn't feel, sometimes at the end of arcs like this, you feel like they're either forcing it shut or they're like leaving a bunch of stuff that's on the table, or stretching it too far for no reason, right? Like just to sell an extra issue. And this felt like it got where it needed to go. Kind of told its story. They had their time like on the road. They had their time behind bars. They had like their sort of inter-team turmoil and struggle, and at the end they kind of came together under one ideology as a team. Like it felt pretty good.
yeah, I agree. I guess one thing I guess I'm a little torn about is like I feel like viewing doesn't. I kind of think that she doesn't have a good grasp of Braun. Right? Like she kind of writes him as like kind of like a more of like a bumbling idiot, or just like, like I guess a typical like dumb strong guy person, when like Amadeus Cho is, I mean, like he can be silly and quippy, right? So
He's one of the smartest people in the
yeah,
Marvel
he's like the
universe.
7th smartest person in the universe, in the Marvel universe or something like that, right? So
Right.
like, like him like not being able to hack into a computer or things like that, and just just using him to just to bust the door open. I'm just like like, but so I'm like, okay, but like I said, on the flip side, he is a little bit on the silly side, right? Like he is kind of a quippy, and like he would like the part where he's like checking himself out in the mirror and things like that. Like that's probably something he would do, but um yeah, it just like
I missed the
I feel
computer
like
thing.
I feel like she missed I think she missed like the part that he's like his whole thing is being like super smart too.
I like that he was kind of, we know he's crushing on Viv, so there are times where he's kind of checking in the mirror to make sure he's looking okay and stuff
Right,
like
exactly.
that. So I chalked up some of that silliness just to him probably being nervous around her, but
Right.
Sorry, I was trying to do an urgent knock, not a busted off the hinges knock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like she got the silliness side of him, but I think she missed out on the fact that he's like super smart as well.
When was the computer thing? Was that this issue?
Well, there's a part where they broke into the like like, and they shut the cradle system down, right? Like
Right.
and and Viv did that instead of Braun,
Yeah.
right?
Fair enough.
I mean,
guess
they both can do it, but I'm just saying, like,
sure. There's definitely no reason Amadeus couldn't do it. I can see why. I can see them going with Viv. It's a chance to display the sort of the android element, right?
right.
But then to make a point of Amadeus not handling it is weird.
Or yeah, it is. It's just more of like I didn't see that side, and maybe and again, like I said, I'm kind of torn, but
yeah,
and this little gripe is incredibly minor. I enjoyed the issue overall.
We're getting granular.
Yeah,
I think that there's a couple things about the champions that over time I've come to realize what it is I like. One is it's really about the fact that they're kids, and not only are they kids, but this book like more or less from the start has been pretty dialed into like not now but right now. You know what I mean? Like they're on the ball. These are supposed to be kids who would exist today, who have access to information and don't just hopefully let people tell them how the world works. Woke, if you will. Hopefully you won't, but you know what I mean? Like, and to get those little kind of the minutia of the kids and what it sort of like feels like to be a teenager, that's what kind of has stuck with me most across the like several different yeah, exactly. So I got some of that in here, and more so than maybe in the last couple of issues, so I think I appreciated that in this issue. There was a couple issues of this arc that I didn't feel quite as strongly as I think they really kind of nailed the landing is I guess what I'm getting at. Like, this is a good way to end a story arc. You know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't feel like they just live to fight another day. It doesn't feel like the bad guy got away or something. There wasn't a bad guy, and that's hard to kind of pull off sometimes. There was a little while where it was kind of like a little bit muddled. They were kind of in jail, maybe a little too long. When there's sequences where they're all wearing like, prison costumes, that can get a little bit confusing and stuff like that. But this was just like kind of on the money, and like I felt like the characters for the most part came through pretty strongly in this issue. So that was kind of seeing that was helping me to realize what it is about the champions that I like. It is their quirky moments, the sort of personalities of each of the champions. In that being said, I can see why it would bother you that if Braun's not sort of like played the way he's supposed to be, because that is a huge part of this book.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, very minor. He wasn't a main part of the book. He just like showed up in this issue pretty much, and then also, but yeah, and one thing is this storyline could have easily been like another Civil War or like another Initiative, I guess.
Right.
And it didn't feel that way, and so I can appreciate that.
I'm just glad that the law wasn't just completely reversed and taken care of. I mean, I'm glad it's going to be a process still.
Yeah, that it feels like something real, not just like, hooray, we erased it.
Yeah.
Like, because that wouldn't happen.
All right. What are you rating it, Bobby?
I'm going to go ahead and give this... I'm going to give it 4. What do I give it 4 of? 4 well-dressed teenagers.
I'm going to give it 3.5 undercover brothers.
Nice. And and hats off to the artist, Bob Quinn. This like the art was really solid, and they really went heavy on the blonde like head of interns. Like she looks super programmed.
Yeah.
Those last 2 pages were
Yeah.
different creative teams. So that's
Okay.
Luciano Vecchio and Danny Lore who did the last 2
But yeah, like went real
epilogue
heavy
pages.
on like welcome to Roxxon. Like
Yeah. That was well done. I agree with it.
yes.
Actually, that's the new creative team.
Oh,
Is it?
cool?
Yep.
Well, that's good. So the book's not going away, right? It's like,
Correct. Just a new creative team.
and correct me if I'm wrong. They've kind of been doing that, right? We get a story arc, pretty much new writer, new illustrator after the end of each story arc. They've been doing that for a little while with the champions, right?
No, I think they've had decent runs. It's been shorter and shorter runs for each person, but this may have been one of the shortest with champions because I think Zeb took it over for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember who was after him. It may have been the relaunch. Lord knows, COVID kind of set a lot of things back.
Fair enough. It does seem
Yeah,
like quite a while back that we were first hearing about the champions being outlawed, right?
It was the Outlaw one shot was early 2020. So
yeah, I was gonna say over a year ago, right?
yeah, we're really playing catch up.
Yeah, I'll give this issue 3.5 urgent knocks. All right.
All right, Viet, why don't you take us to the a blast from the past?
Yeah, speaking of what Champions wasn't a rehash of, we're going to talk about Avengers, the Initiative, number 4? 4.
Yes, sir.
4, yes. Written, because I just have the creative team page up. Dan Slott, written by Dan Slott, art by Stefano Caselli, colors by Danielle Rodoni, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna.
You. Wait, what?
All right. Go, Joe.
If I'm not mistaken, this was released in 2007. I could be wrong with that one, though.
or at least that's the that's
It's
the
dated
published date
September
on there.
4th. Probably that means it probably came out that means
Yeah.
it came out in April or something that year. So
So yeah, this is a book from 2007. So we have Hank Pym and Dr. Nazi dude. I don't remember his name.
That's
Talking about evil scientist shit, and we get to then we see a soldier that kind of snuck in and stole something, and then he manages to sneak out, and we basically confirm what my assumption about Hardball was in the previous episodes, that he's an asshole. and he snuck out one of the spin tech things that Ant-Man was working on, and he sells it off to a menacing looking agent person.
He was Yellow Jacket at this time, because there's another different Ant-Man. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Yellow Jacket. Yeah. And I like this whole, like, he's just like, if Gyrick only knew, he'd put you on his Black Ops team. And he's like, his what? And he's like, never mind. No. So meanwhile, they let's see, Cloud9 and Justice go and sort of like cope with her trauma and try to talk with MVP's family, only to find MVP there. Like, what? Nani? But they end up getting a call, and they get a call for an emergency, and they have to leave suddenly. And this is where we're tying into World War Hulk, because Hulk is back from Planet Hulk, and he's not very happy. And then we find out that, Hank Pym and Tony Stark have been working on this whole thing, like they were ready for something like this to happen. Then the Initiative kids are sent off, for crowd control and that kind of thing. And then this is where we find out that it's like, all right, like, we got this tech, the spin tech, to depower the Hulk, and we're gonna win. And it's a dud, because that's the one that Hardball happened to switch out. Because that's great. And so Rage, being true to his name, is going, no, we're going to be Avengers. We're going to go fight them. And then they end up running into Hulk and his gang, and, like, beating Avengers on the ground. And that's where the issue ends. Oh yeah, and Gyrick is about to summon his Black Ops team.
They turn the corner like, oops, we made the wrong turn. We're just gonna go back where we came from.
Yeah, it's one of those like tiptoe back. Like nothing ever happened.
We were not here. Yeah. I just can't tell you how much I love this art and the coloring in this book. It's just fantastic stuff.
It's very good. It's very, very, very good.
This is kind of the stuff I want to see Caselli doing now. I don't know if it's a deadline thing or sometime or the colorist, but sometimes he doesn't go into detail like he used to do here, which I just love. But enough of that. Yeah, that spin tech being stolen was just straight bad luck. That's the one Tony tried to load into his Hulkbuster armor to stop the Hulk.
Yep.
I just, what I like about this is I like getting to read stories that are about moving the entire kind of the storyline of the 616 forward that are fun, and that there's a lot of characters in, but that it doesn't just feel forced. Like, obviously this is intentional, right? They essentially created a good reason to pull out every B, C, and D lister and put them in the middle of a book for a few months, and see which ones would stick. And then that probably informed the new class of books for the next year after that in 2008. But I don't know. It's just, it reminds you how rich the Marvel universe is, right? Like, there's so many characters and, I don't know. You could just never run out of crazy stuff to do with them if you want to be creative. And it's and in spite of all that, they still have to do Civil War 3 and stuff I'm just kidding, but I'm sure it's coming. It seems doesn't it seem weird that they, why is it that they can let us become satiated on certain ideas about the Marvel universe, given that there's so many roads they could be going down? It just seems like.
But we say that as we talked earlier, I think, while you were dealing with the equipment stuff, that there's going to be a World War She-Hulk.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And probably before we figure out, what's going to happen between Wakanda and Atlantis.
Corin, did you? I've been collecting the World War Hulk stuff, just because I was kind of gathering all the Hulk stuff. But you weren't too huge on it, right? I've never heard any everybody I think across the board loved Planet Hulk, right? But World War Hulk was just
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I get confused between. I sometimes forget that they're two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
World War Hulk was him up in up in Planet Hulk, in Sakaar.
So it's World a War continuation.
Whole World War Hulk was him coming back and coming back back on Earth and getting his revenge for sending
I think
him
with
to space.
World War Hulk, they made a big event out of it, and it's one of the middle events. It's not like Civil War, Secret Invasion, great, but it's not like Secret Empire, depressing, bad. It's that middle ground. I think the JRJR art was okay, but I think overall the story was, I think it was just a little bit bloated.
Gotcha.
JRJR art it's a tough sell for me.
I mean, it depends. His older stuff I may not like as much, but there was a phase where I actually kind of understood him.
Yeah, agreed. It depends, but yeah. So, and just to be clear, so that was the part of the context is Tony essentially sent him away on purpose. It was like a
the Illuminati. So after
right.
I forget what happened in Vegas, fight between Hulk and Thing that kind of wrecked the place, and they just eventually tried to send him away to a quiet planet where he can actually be by himself. But
yeah,
being who he is,
they yeeted him into space, as the kids would say.
What is it? Say they did what?
They yeeted him.
Wow.
YEET. Yeet, as in threw him into space.
Yeah, but on during the travel, he got angry and started messing up the equipment. So the shuttle went off course, went through a black hole, and crash landed on a different planet where, he went from Gladiator to King, and eventually his ship exploded, basically destroying the planet and his pregnant wife, and basically him and the remnants came back to Earth to get their revenge. It's a fantastic story. Planet Hulk is fantastic.
Planet Hulk is amazing. It got me loving Greg Pak as a writer.
Yes.
Were you into Hulk before then, Viet?
Not really. Actually, what ended up happening is I liked Incredible Hercules, which
Huh.
was written by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente, and then that's where I learned about Amadeus Cho, and that's how I became a big fan of him. And then, but they have like such, at the time they had like that kind of branched off of World War Hulk, and then so
Yep.
from there, like because of their close ties to Hulk and the fact that Greg Pak was like did a super long run of Hulk, of Incredible Hulk, and so that's where like I guess I started expanding from there basically. And
Yeah.
but yeah, Planet Hulk is what kind of put Greg Pak on the map, I guess, or got him his big break with the big two
Gave him his
Ryan
wings.
Jones. Yeah, it's really good.
It is. I mean, Lord knows, I think I've got everything afterwards to bind and sitting somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I haven't read all of it. But I have the issues.
Um,
Yeah.
back to this.
Yeah.
Is Gyrix Black Ops team Thunderbolts?
No. Nope. That is a different team at this point in time. But you will get to meet all of them through the series.
Yeah, I see the Scarlet Spider guys.
Yeah.
Looks like Constrictor.
Mm.
Is that Constrictor?
Hold on,
and-
let me find the page.
He's the poor man's Omega Red. Yeah.
I think between him and another character, you're gonna actually learn to like them a lot during the series.
Okay.
And I think the other one is Bengal, I think. And then there's
Yeah, and then there's Trauma.
and I forgot the code name they give for that character in the middle, but her identity was a secret, which will get revealed later on who she is, but she is a mutant, which they kind of made a big deal out of, but I don't think her reveal was anything spectacular, but
Mm.
This is kind of a weird question too, because I know he's been around for. Who really is like? What is Henry Gyric's role? Like I remember thinking he was an X-Men sort of like foil for a long time, but he's not just that, right? Like
government stooge.
some
He
kind of
was-
government, yeah.
He was the liaison for the Avengers, I believe, back in the day. That may have been where he started. That's kind of before my time. Yeah, he's always been between superhero and politics.
Yeah, like I remember him being sort of like a villain on the X-Men cartoon, and that's how I mostly know him.
He definitely did have a role in the X-Men universe. Even I want to say he was he's featured in the God Loves Man Kills, like the original what's it called? Purifiers story. That X-Men graphic novel. You guys ever read that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, I know that he's always been that, like, he's a government liaison of some kind, but it's just kind of like it's a little bit
Yeah.
wishy-washy as far as
He's
that's all
not,
you need to know.
Yeah, he's not a
That's all you need
likable
to know.
person.
No. He first appeared in Avengers 165 from 1977.
In the Nixon era.
So,
Yeah, dude's been around.
definitely.
Wow.
Don't really have anything else. I enjoyed this book.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was a little worried. I'm like, tie-in. but then I was like, no, this actually was pretty good. Like, and it did a good job letting people know what was happening in the other book without having to know. Or maybe just because I already had knowledge of World War Hulk, but I thought it did a pretty good job. Like filling somebody in that's just reading this book.
And this is Dan Slott. I think this is kind of the time where I really started falling for him in his writing. He really became one of my writers I follow.
because he gets to kind of get open on this book, and because there's so much to work with, I think.
He may have had some stuff before this one, but I think this is when I first noticed him. I know he was writing. Actually, he wrote like a Thing series for a while, which he was popular for. And I think after this he got She-Hulk, or before this he got She-Hulk, which
Dan
if I'm not
Slott's
mistaken,
She-Hulk run, so good.
is one of your favorite stuff too, as well. So
Yes.
Yeah.
say.
Hmm.
All right.
P.S. Hardball is an asshole. Confirmed. Confirmed.
What'd
All
y'all
right.
do for quick hits?
Let's look at it. I read 1, 2, 3. I don't remember if I read Eternals number 3.
I read everything but Alien and Savage.
Wow. Damn. Look at you.
Yeah. I read a day before recording.
Well, Alien just happened to be one of my favorite
Yeah,
I
I
wanna say
put it
series,
I
but
put it in the
franchise.
quick I put it in
Franchises.
I put it in the quick hits just for you, Corbin.
Oh, I
Well,
appreciate it.
I've always been a fan of the Alien comics too, and I had no idea Marvel had picked up the license.
Oh yeah.
And I also read Alien, and it was pretty dope, I will say. But
And they waste no time letting you know exactly where and when it falls with everything else.
yeah, that was
Like,
really nice. It really, and not in a like here's a timeline way. It was, it was expository writing, but it was written into the narrative in a way that just was. You need to know that. You need to know that if you're going to be reading an Alien book, like where in the context does this take place? Because a lot of things can change. Obviously, it's hard to know what will be considered canon from here.
Well, that was the whole point of the world building, which is how I like how they set it up, because it's definitely after the first 2 movies.
Yeah,
they
for
put
sure,
it in
yeah.
that gap there on purpose, which I really enjoyed. So hopefully they'll build a nice franchise, a nice universe out of this. But I don't have that on my tablet, but I know it was Salvador LaRocca on art and
Yeah.
Philip Kennedy Johnson
writing it, and
Guru EFX on the colors.
Woo.
and it gets the thumbs up for me, and I'm a huge Alien fan, so yeah,
Cool. Good.
really looking forward to this series as a whole.
Yeah,
So
I would
guess my
say
recommend.
I agree. And if you are a fan of the first 2 Alien movies and you're not sure how you feel about the other ones, I would say there's like already something for you in this book, like that you could come into the fold if you want. Come check it out.
Agreed.
Definitely starting in the right place for I think the hardcore like original fans.
Nice.
What about Beta Ray Bill? What can you guys tell me about that book? Because it's a little bit on my radar.
I can tell you something about that book. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something I did not know about Beta Ray Bill. I did not know that he was a cyborg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like it's I think I've said this before, but like I've always liked, I don't know why, but I always liked the concept of Beta Ray Bill, but I would never say like I've like went out of my way to read a book, even though I was like, I should read more about Beta Ray Bill. Like he's always just been like
Marvel's got a few.
yeah.
My bad,
He's
my
always
bad.
been like kind of a cool character to me, but I just never like I don't really know anything about him and never really took the time to learn about him.
I feel like he kind of has that Boba Fett quality about him, which is like
Yeah,
a lot of
maybe.
everyone knows who he is, but like, and nowadays obviously there's so much content about Boba Fett and Mandalorians, but if you were living in the like when Return of the Jedi was out in the theater, you might know who Boba Fett is and want to be a fan of him, but you would only have ever heard 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, and as far as you were concerned, there wasn't ever going to be any more dialogue. still like one of the most popular Star Wars characters, right? It's the weirdest thing. Beta Ray Bill, I feel like, is kind of like that. A lot of people, when they see him, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's." They might not even say Beta Ray Bill, but they're like, "Yeah, I know the horse that's dressed like Thor."
Yeah,
you know?
Thor horse.
But and myself included, I did not know a lot about him, and this. But can I give it a little rundown?
Yeah,
Can I be
go
the-
for it.
Yeah. So, there it's kind of an interesting way of locating Beta Ray Bill in the Marvel universe right now, and also giving you backstory because what we find out is that he's currently in Asgard with Thor.
He's the guardian of Asgard now that
He's
Thor is the All-Father.
he's the defense secretary
Yeah.
of Asgard essentially.
Mhm.
and and that's all well and good. One thing that's tough for him is when apparently it was Odin that kind of like elevated his status up from just any random Corbinite. Well, not just random Corbinite. He was like this cyborg defender, I guess, of his planet. But Odin saw greatness in him, and sort of when he was able to pick up Mjolnir on his own, so he was, I guess, worthy in that way. But because of that, Odin kind of like extra blessed him, and then had Stormbreaker built for him. Right? Maybe you guys may or may not know that. I'm sure Corwin or be it one of you guys must have that knowledge in you. So
That's
Thor broke it though.
Yep.
And because of that, he's no longer able to transform back into like a more humanoid form.
Yeah, you can't get a swerve on with Sif.
Can't get his swerve on with Sif, and that's a big
tragedy.
part of. Yeah, that definitely comes up in this issue because, like, basically they're going back to the room to do a little Netflix and and stuff, and then she's like, "So how's this gonna work?" And he's like, "Oh, actually, it doesn't work anymore. I thought you knew that." And she's like, "Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go to sleep then." And he goes like out in the hallway and cries, and then
He pieces out.
yeah, and then basically he's like, "I'm out of here," and he starts talking to his little cyborg intelligence. He's also got a onboard AI apparently, and Thor is like, "Where are they going?" And he really kind of blows his top on Thor. And then he's like, we're out of here, and I'm taking my toys with me, which is his big giant. He's got a giant, war frigate that he pieces out in.
So the series is gonna be how Beta Ray Bill got his groove back.
Got his groove back.
I knew we're on point today.
Yes.
Art's like kind of scribbly in a way, but I really like it. I like it for the feel of the book, which is a little bit emo. It works for me. So
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson is the writer and artist, and Mike Spicer on the colors.
word.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
And if you definitely want Walt Simonson run on Thor, which is another epic run on Thor. That's where he makes his first appearance, and you learn all about him and everything there. So
Yeah, there's in this book there's like some Q&A stuff. I didn't have time to read it, but there's a big Q&A with Walt Simonson.
Yeah.
I think it's Johnson, the writer, like asking him questions. Or they're just like talking, and it's just like a
nice
interview. I do want to read that.
He was probably inspired by Simonson.
Oh, I'm
so
sure.
He's probably talking to his hero.
I mean, Simonson, besides Jason Aaron, right? Is like, but Simonson is the Thor guy, right? Like,
yes.
The authority, if you will.
Yes, authority. Yes. And this is and no, this will be the 10,465,732nd time that we're gonna tell you to read Jason Aaron's Thor run.
There's Thor. For sure. For
Thor
sure.
for sure. Thor on the list.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Did you guys read America Chavez, Made in the USA, #1?
Sure did.
Yes, indeed. Written by Kalinda Vasquez, art by Carlos Gomez, and Jesus Abertoff on colors.
This art's like almost like, this feels like almost like Pepe Larraz art.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's so good.
Check.
And yeah, and this just had like a good flow to it. I guess it almost felt like a West Coast Avengers book, to be honest.
Yep.
Stay off my wavelengths, Viet.
Get out of my head.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's got that West Coast feel with the giant mole rats attacking the city, and the craziness.
Well, Kate's in it too. Like,
Yeah.
And Kate's in it. Well, they're BFFs, but I do like the fact that this is explaining her story. She had I think it was an ongoing series before, actually.
Yeah, she did.
That dealt with her origin and where she comes from and everything, her life there. This book kind of picks up what happens after that when she's on Earth. So it's a transitional period that they're finally filling in with her history, which I appreciated.
Yeah, the last series more focused on her past in regards to like the different dimension type stuff, right? So it was more abstract, more spacey, and like sci-fi.
Well, they explained that, but then also she was going to school, so they kind of try to ground her as well in our world and
right.
what she's doing with herself.
Yeah, and then so like I could see how people didn't like that as much, and I can probably say like I definitely like this better than that one, but I thought that one was also good.
Yeah.
So to be clear, this is an aspect or a time in America's backstory that hasn't been explored, right? Because I've never heard about this other family that she had.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, which I guess is cool, right? Let's get some more backstory. I think sometimes you got to tread lightly when you're. I don't know. She's got a pretty specific backstory involving, two moms and stuff. And
Mhm.
I hope it doesn't get like, I know it's not overwriting it. But if you say that she has another family, that does kind of, that's a change that we, you know what I mean? Like,
No, it's after that. After that, when she's actually a refugee on our planet. This
I
family
get that.
takes her.
I get that.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really understand that she had been like marooned from her mother's as like a child. Like I'd never understood that as, I just thought that she kind of came to Earth to be a hero. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I'm definitely interested in where it goes.
Yeah. Agreed.
It just
I like
crossed
this
my
a lot.
mind. You know what I mean? That would be something that, to have that be lessened in any way would maybe be, people might have feelings about it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
it definitely wasn't like a
art is
retcon or
killer.
anything. Yeah.
It's really good art.
Yeah.
It
I
was
was
just a
very
nice
surprised. Yeah.
Viet, get off my wavelength.
I know, right? I can read your minds.
It was a nice surprise to have Kate Bishop show up. I mean, should maybe to be expected, but to have that in my sort of in this month's reading, if you will, was a nice little bonus. Although I have to say, not word one about Jeff the Land Shark. I don't know where he is. And
he's with Emma. He's on
okay.
Krakoa.
Oh.
No,
He's with-
he's not on Krakoa. Sorry, he's with Deadpool and Bloodstone.
Oh,
Elsa.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
Right on.
You said you didn't read Eternals 3?
I read it, but it's been so long I don't remember it, and I don't have it on my tablet, so I really
This
can't talk
one,
about it.
this one is the Athena one.
I did not read this.
Yeah, and ever since I talked about like his like I used to love Assad Ribic, but ever since I noticed like his weird like googly eyes,
Faces.
like I can't unsee it.
It takes you out of it.
I mean, like some of the art where I'm just like, oh, this is gorgeous, and then we're just like, those eyes, man. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like the pupils are so dilated.
Huh.
They're high on life.
Yeah, like, but, and then I'm kind of getting to a point where I guess it's sort of interesting, but it's sort of at the same time, I still, like, I'm not invested in any of these characters, and it's getting me hard. Like, I'm getting ready to bow out of it just because I don't feel invested
Yeah.
in these characters.
Trying to remember.
So like maybe like with these Eternals, like maybe if I can, maybe after the movie I might go back and try to pick these up in a dollar bin, and I might really enjoy it. But like just kind of getting thrown into it, like I can't say personally to like you should be picking this up.
Is this where they get into the family tree with the Titans, the Eternals on Titan and stuff?
No,
that
this
diagram?
is basically Cersei dealing with we're kind of introduced to Athena, who's also like they were saying like the Greeks mistaken her for being Athena.
Oh, and she fell in love. She keeps falling in love with the humans or the Cro-Magnons.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
people that the Eternals are sworn to fight, right?
Right.
So
The deviants.
yeah, the deviants and stuff like that. And then like I said, you're just kind of thrown into this, and you're like, it's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna say it's not, but like, and then just maybe it's more of like, like, man, I could be reading some X-Men books right now, kind of thing,
Well, I got a question. How many rounds of this Eternals revival do you think we're gonna get before they decide to pull the plug on the movie? Like,
Oh no, that movie's going full steam ahead.
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I don't know. You can see what they're trying to do, right? Like Isad Ribic's art is this grandiose kind of, epic fantasy stuff. They're really trying to imbue it with some, I don't know, history almost, right? They're trying to breathe life into this lifeless.
Yeah, and it's Kieran Gillen too, right? Like, so like I want to care about it, and
Wow, yeah.
and I think he's doing a pretty good job of like kind of filling you in on everything. Like you're starting to get to learn about who they are, but I'm not quite there where I care yet.
It's like he's making all the Marvel Universe pieces fit, making their whole story finally, all their different stories coalesce and finally fit into one continuity. And then I think from here he'll really be able to just take off and just concentrate on telling his story. And
I will say though, of the three that I have read, like this was probably my favorite. Like Athena seems like a cool, or just Athena seems like a really cool character. But like if it keeps kind of going in this direction, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for me. I haven't read anything else. We're not going to touch on Savage Avengers. It's really not worth getting into. Actually, Deadpool's in it. It's a tie-in to King in Black. So check out more for the podcast for that coverage. Then.
I'm sorry, Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist was pretty good. it feels like it's kind of getting rushed, but I don't know. It's one of those, like, this artist can draws a sunspot like properly, or Alex would be proud on how he's drawn in this book. But yeah, I guess you start, if you're a fan of Immortal Iron Fist, I think this is a book worth getting. But it's yeah, I guess that's all really
Okay.
really worth and Immortal Iron Fist was great. But see, you kind of see a lot of the same characters.
Yeah.
And Silk #1. Did you guys read that?
No,
Didn't.
that's the one I'm looking forward to the most too, out of the rest of them that I haven't read.
Cool. So I'm not really familiar with what J. Jonah Jameson is up to now. So I guess this kind of fills you in. He's now, there's a paper called Threat and Menace, Threats and Menaces, and he's the head of that. And
He's actually pro Spider-Man. He's backing Spider-Man and knows his secret identity.
Mm-hmm. And I guess if you follow any of the old Silk stuff, like J. Jonah Jameson is a little sweet on her, because like she's like old school, because she was trapped in a bunker for like 10
Oh,
years.
yeah.
And he actually, like, her nickname is Analog. On here. And she kind of has like a rapport with J. Jonah Jameson, and it's just her being a reporter and superheroing and stuff. So if you like Silk, which I do, I would recommend it.
More of the same goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a mini series on top of that too.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the same artist as the last Silk run, but different writer.
Well, damn.
And I think that's it. I think that's everything.
All right. So,
Whew.
Bobby, why don't you tell? Well, actually, before that, is there anything on the Twitch channel?
My friend Skillsplat just came in and said hi. So hello, Skillsplat. I've been chatting with them, just kind of saying hi, and
Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for checking us out.
Yes,
You
and
did.
thank you to all the lurkers, that just happened to come in and didn't say anything, which is fine.
If you don't have a Twitch, you can't say anything, right? So
yeah, but that's okay.
yeah, it's okay.
All right, Bobby, why don't you
Yeah.
tell listeners how they can reach us?
All right. If you want to get in touch with us, you got a question, you got a comment, you want to tell us why you're mad. Its email address is emp@earthsmightiestpodcast.com. Is that right?
Hmm?
It's not the... Oh, yeah. We also have the Facebook group going still with some conversation there. Facebook group.earthsmightiestpodcast.com. We've got
A Discord.
going, which is discord.com/EMP, or is it Earth's Mightiest? It's one of those
Yeah,
things.
go to our website,
There's a link on our webpage.
earthsmightiestpodcast.com, and there's
That's
a
right.
link for Discord.
And our website is earthsmightiestpodcast.com. It definitely has links to all pertinent information. On Twitter, you can find the team at EMPcast. You can find me at Bobby Mobetta. You can find Viet at Comedian Viet. You can also search the hashtag TheCollectiveNet, which will get you in touch with not just us, but a number of other like-minded Marvel hero podcasters. So if you've got some other heroes you want to hear more about, do a deep dive on, you can dial that up, dial that hashtag up, and you'll find some bunch of podcasts there. It's a good group of people. Also, we're proud members of.
Yeah, we don't
No.
post anymore.
And
I haven't tried the website again. Like for the longest time, I couldn't log in.
yeah,
So we'll check that
here's what
again.
it is.
Special thanks to Tribe One for our theme song. Check out his
Thanks,
site,
Tribe.
tribe1.bandcamp.com, and we will see you next month.
That's right.
Get you in the next one.
Well, bye-bye. All right. Anybody that's catching the VOD to this, thank you all for hanging out on Twitch, and I will be back on Sunday working on toys.
Works hard for his money.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Hard for his money.
All right.
God bless.
Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Boys.
everybody.
Until next times.